and we're going to do some fun stuff today. All right. Hey, everybody. It's Kathy Inman, and ER Wolf is going to see you guys come in. Okay. So we're going to do Tuesday training, Tech Tuesday today. I have an idea. We have something that we're going to build today. I've already put it together so I can show you what we're going to build, and then we'll build that. And for one of our friends that's with here today, I got T, I got Luke. I'm so excited. We got new peeps. Don's with us today. I know you messaged me earlier, Don. We have an answer for you. So Tech Tuesday, we're here every Tuesday at 2:00 for open questions, how to use Shuffle like technically, and how to use Shuffle like out in the real world. So we're always here to field questions and help everybody. If you guys are not familiar with ER Wolf is the co-founder of Shuffle, and so we're lucky to have him with us here today. He's going to help me because, like you can hear, I have a little bit of something going on with my voice, and we're gonna have some fun. So let's first start off by just opening this up to questions from you guys. I know sometimes you go through the week and it's like, ooh, I ran into something, or I have a question, or this is what's going on. And let's see what we can do there first. So Ruben, what you got going on?
Okay, I put it in the chat. I had a person that a coach. He's a male a marriage counselor coach, and he's really interested in Shuffle. But he asked. He has ZOHO. He's got all his clients loaded in on that email campaign, whatever it is, and he was wondering if it can be integrated in with Shuffle. And
currently, yes. There's a Zapier solution. There's a Zapier solution for that. ZAPIER.
No, I'm aware of that.
It's an integration that goes directly from Shuffle to Zoho and back.
Yeah, and I put that in the chat. But I'm talking about ZOHO.
Yeah. So Zapier is like a bridge.
Okay.
That connects Shuffle to other things like Zoho.
Oh, okay, good.
So you actually would use Zapier, and they call them zaps, to zap the information back or forth, whatever you're trying to do.
Because I put two links that said Shuffle's compatible with Spot Hub or HubSpot or whatever. And it showed a whole lot of them there, but it didn't show this specific one, ZOHO. So that's why, I wanted to get back to him with some, factual information.
And I'm a Zoho user, so yes.
Yeah, there should be a listing. If you go to the Zapier website, they show all of the compatible applications that you can create zaps with using Zapier and your Shuffle account.
Great.
So Zoho, whether it's MailChimp or Infusionsoft or any of these other third-party tools that anybody might be using. And so I would direct them that it is doable with Zapier, and that they need to look at their Zapier account if they don't already have one, or set up a Zapier account to get that. The token is actually in the profile section of your Shuffle account. It'll ask for your Zapier token, and that's the one you're going to use when you're creating zaps between the Shuffle application and a third-party application.
Ooh, love to learn about that. That's great. Thanks a lot.
Yep.
Absolutely. I just put the link in there for you, Ruben. The Zapier.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you.
All the CRMs that it's compatible that you can zap with.
Well, you get great answers in this room.
All right, Tuesday, what you got?
Oops,
Put her on the spot.
Yeah.
All right. Could you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right, great.
Gotcha.
Hey, all right. So I had a dynamic event. I think I mentioned that I had one coming up. It was successful. I was digital. Okay. And people were like, what's that? So anyway, I jumped ahead of myself. I was showing off, and then now I got clients. And one is a carrier too, business to business. So when I'm an affiliate through when we used to have like the classes on Sunday, copy a card, but it said the first message was, it says can't, it says something about it was a premium account. So I don't think that was, I was able to clone that one. So I went to the templates, And I remember you saying a number when you were showing us, and if I thought I remembered it correctly, I was going to my notes, it was 18, but I wanted to just clarify. Which one was the free card? The free template, I'm sorry.
The
that we
free
used.
template's actually going to be listed under free business card, but if you're in the standard templates, one that gets used really often, and Kathy, I don't know if you want to share screen and show this, is template 18. And if not, I can do that as well, but there you go, you got it.
I'm on it.
So there are going to be a few or several different standard templates that you'll see come up. The free business card template will be on the mobile builder. So even if you're on your computer using the mobile builder, you're going to want to go on ahead and do that within the mobile builder. You'll see the free business card template, and Kathy will pull it up in a second here. I know I think you already had that stuff up. We were going to go through, but when you're on here and you go to create your card, okay, I want to call out a few things when Kathy clicks create card. Obviously, as most of us know, you've got two builders that are going to come up. The mobile builder is very easy to build, right? You just fill out a series of form fields. The desktop builder allows you more flexibility. You can see in these little bullets, right? Follow the steps, easy form process, simple for beginners. Whereas you've got your drag and your drop, your clone and your hide, your more flexibility if you're design oriented in the desktop builder. Where we're going to be talking about is on the mobile builder side, because that's where that free business card template is. Also, this is something where everybody can do it from their mobile phone. So you'll see when you first log in, at the very top underneath that card, it says free business card. At the very top, that's the one that we reference, that anybody who gets a free Shuffle account, they're going to have access to this template. So as you can see, as Kathy scrolls through it, you've got things like the ways for them to share and forward. You've got your image, you've got your name and your profession in the company you work for. There's a section for people to contact you, a section for social for people to connect with you, an outbound web link, an embedded video, and a lead capture form that you can put all on this card. Now, this is not template 18, which is another template that we've used in the past. And actually, Kathy, you might be able to scroll on that one. I'm sorry, on there and see the template 18 within the mobile builder, but realize that template is still just fixed as a layout. There's not dragging and dropping, but you're going to find that general template 18 layout. So as Kathy is mousing over here, you can see there's a template, and at the top, you've got template 20. And then so on and so forth. The little labels are right at the top, template 19. And then the one Kathy's on right now is this template 18. It's got a logo, it's got an image scroller, it's got a text section, it's got video. You can sort of see, I'm just referencing the little elements that are sitting on this card, right? The logo at the top that says LFI, you can swap out for your logo. The image scroller that's there that shows the computers, the text section, the button, the video, the social. This layout, anytime you're looking at any of these templates on mobile, are going to be fixed. Meaning if Kathy selected this template, all she's going to see is a form that she can fill out. Step 1, info. Step 2, pictures. Step 3, social. On the other end, when we talk about the advanced builder, okay, again, a lot of these standard templates start out with the same elements, just organized in different ways. So when Kathy goes to hit create and create a new card, then she's going to select the mobile builder, or I'm sorry, the desktop builder here, because it's going to have the functionality to move things around. And so as she scrolls down on here, you can see the same standard template 6, 5, 7, 11, etc. And the one on the very end is template 18. You'll see it laid out in the same way. If she mouses over or selects that picture, it will scroll through and you can see the same elements we were talking about earlier, right? Logo at the top, picture scroller, button, video, text, social, image. These are all those same elements you had on the mobile builder, but now in this advanced builder, you have the capability to drag any of those items around, re-clone those items over and over again, etc. So this typically is that default template, Kathy, that a lot of us will start out with from the foundation. And then the reason why is because all the elements exist in this template, right? Buttons, videos, logos, scrollers, images. So pretty much whatever you're envisioning, template 18 is a great starting ground if you're going to be dragging and dropping and moving things all around, assuming you don't have Marketplace and there's another layout that works for you. So the benefit
Right,
of
I've
this
seen it.
desktop builder is giving you more flexibility, but do know the difference between mobile builder and desktop builder.
Mhm.
One is fixed, the other's flexible, and
Right,
that the free business card template is only on that mobile builder.
okay, thank you. So I went there, so I think I was cloning her free one from one of mine, which was a paid account. So my thing is, I want to show her a free one. Well, but she wants to go. So I want to start her slow,
Yep.
give her card. And when I
Yep.
give her the free card, then if she says she want to move to the next steps, that's when we just move she'll be able to purchase, and then she'll get her own referral number at the bottom, correct?
100% correct. And actually, last week, Ruben talked briefly about this. When they're in that free account, at the very top of their free account, there's going to be a little button that says try premium for $1. So if
Right.
you're sort of
I've seen it.
stair-stepping people through the process of adopting Shuffle and implementing it in their business, and you're sort of
Yep.
saying, here's a free business card to start, which I think is a great strategy. And even taking that step further, like, let me help you put your account together. Let me spin up your free card. Let me show you how to edit it real quick. You're off to the races. When she's ready
That's
to
it.
say, like, I really would like to move some things around on that template, or I'd really like tracking, whatever the additional things that are in the premium that aren't in free, all she needs to do is click on that little banner up top. That's the next step in. That will unlock all of the premium services. That will be at the lowest price to try it. I always tell people there's no contract on here. There's, quit anytime. So try it out for $1. And if you don't like it, you can revert back to a free account. And if you do like it, it's going to be whatever that monthly fee is going to be.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Got it.
happy to
Thank you.
help. And if you ever need help, just reach out. Okay.
All right, thanks.
Uh-huh.
Awesome. Okay, so I know Don put his questions to me earlier on chat. I don't think he's put them in here. So Don, you want to tell everybody what you ran into, and we can tell you what we figured out, so that way everybody can hear the question and the answer.
Okay, so I have a bunch of people who have the old free accounts. We had a way of getting I think they had a full
Yep.
capability card.
Yep.
Those accounts no longer have access to any cards. And the address, they can't get the new free card because the address has already been used.
Mm.
So how can I get those people a free card?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk to that, what we figured out here? Or Guy, do you want to talk to
Yeah, I
that since
think
you
that's
walked down that
Guy
path?
wanted to
Yeah.
take this because I know he played around with it a little bit. There is a flow, John, that's on there. And I just want to make sure we go through it correctly. So Guy, I remember you went through that flow. Do you want to speak to that real quick?
Most definitely. And there is a little bit of a nuance here, John, is when we shifted over to our new free template, it sort of bifurcates the system. So it differentiates a new user from an old user, but it did take elements of the new user and sort of shoved some of the old user elements to the side. So what had happened is a new free user moving forward gets one template, gets the free template. They don't get access to look at the other cards to create unless they select them, and they're going to be presented with upgrading information, contact, same types of things. There's a little bit, we're working with development to bring this back to where the old free accounts are sort of migrated into our newer process with every element. It's a work in progress. But what we have identified is those old cards that the free users have had access to, yeah, they're gone because those templates are no longer available to them. But if they do log in, they do have a login, their username and password, they can get back into the system. They go to create a new mobile built card. The first one presented to them will be the new free template. So I did look into a few free accounts to see if that's available, old free accounts. and it's just getting access into their account. If they're experiencing not knowing their username and password, obviously we would ask you to send that to support, and we can help them generate a new password if they don't want to push the forgot password and go through the email process. But we are seeing where old free accounts do have access. They go create a new card, and the very first one that appears will be the new free card.
Okay, well, I'll look at it. That hasn't changed since I looked at it last night, right?
It shouldn't have. No, John, it shouldn't have. It
When
should
I
be
looked
that
at it
same
last
flow.
night, I didn't see a way that I could create. I have one free old free account, and I didn't see a way I could create a card.
Let's connect offline, and I'll walk you through it, and hopefully that will
Definitely.
get us moving forward with that one.
And let's
Thanks,
go
John.
through with an example account, John, that you have, so we can walk through it step by step and show you, because there's a path.
Thank you.
Yep. All
All right.
right.
Anybody else have any questions? Anything else come up this week that they've run into? Okay, so here's what we came up with today. I'm super excited to help. So Dee is in my one of my networking groups, and she has this really cool business where she makes juiced, or what is it, hand pressed juices for people, and she has an entire line. And so what we had talked about when we were talking about Shuffle was like how she could have almost like a product page for each one of her different flavors. And then she could create a campaign for her QR code and put that on the labels. And I was thinking that'd be cool because, of course, like you guys know, she could go in if there was any additions or changes to, what's in it or anything she wants her people to know. Every time they click on that QR code, she could change from the background any information that's attached to that QR code. And I was thinking too, like for her internally, and ER and I both love statistics, is like which ones are getting clicked on the most.
Yep.
What are people looking to when they're clicking on it? What are they looking at? She could even do a lead capture if she wanted to like grab their information. So I worked something up earlier just to kind of show you what I was thinking. Of course, once she has this, she can do whatever she wants to do with it, but this is what I was playing with, just to kind of have something to have an example. So let me put it.
So for
So I
those
started
following
off.
along, you're in the desktop editor and you're editing a card that you've already built. And as you're scrolling through here, guys, and you might notice a few things here in the preview mode. You're going to see things that look grayed out. If you're new to all of this, the grayed out just means they're hidden. The element's existing on the page, but it's hidden. So that video section we can see is hidden. Some of those social elements haven't been filled out, so they're hidden. These scroller images are hidden. So what, Kathy, you've got right now is at the top of the page, we've got big view of our image of our juices, right? It says Kale Paradise, and then it's going to go through the whole process, shop other products. I'm thinking is, Kathy, you're envisioning some type of hub that links to the individual pages for all of the cold pressed juices, etc. And then other services. And then that could link to another page, and then contact information, meaning how do you get connected with us?
Yeah, so I just started, like I said, I was just playing with this before we jumped on. I was kind of getting an idea down of like what I would, how I would lay it out. Of course, everybody can lay it out differently, but I was thinking how cool it would be to have one. So I'll show you guys her website.
Yep.
So, and T, feel free to jump in. But it's got all her different juices under shop. Cool. So we could make one for each. Of course, kind of color coded the buttons, but we could kind of do one for each different flavor.
Yep.
And then, if you wanted to, you could have the scrolling, showing the other flavors and stuff like that. But anyways, the point was I wanted to show you what I was making, and I thought we would make one together to show you guys kind of, oops, let me pull that down. Show you kind of what I did and how we got to here and what else we could do to make it even more fun and interesting.
And Kathy, if you don't mind, can you jump back to her main website on the shop page and just click on the same product, Kale Paradise?
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is the benefit here, right? Like you've got a product and we want to create a page specifically about this product, but we can take the shuffle card and we can add lots more context, right? A video, if you wanted to, talking specifically about why Kale Paradise might be good for the consumer. I love little, it's full of fiber and calcium and potassium and all these benefits. And there's a reason why there are different drinks, right? For different people, for different purposes. So we don't want to have a card that's a catch-all for all cold pressed juice. We want one for each one. This is kale. This is, the sunrise blender. This is whatever it is on each one of those things. And the shuffle card's going to allow you to build out that whole thing. Also, Kathy, what I think is cool about what you're showing and putting together here is as you go down this path, I always recommend to somebody, if you have a lot of different products that you offer and you're envisioning creating a different shuffle card for each of those products, start out with one, build the whole shuffle card out, get it dialed in and laid out the way you want it, edit it over and over again, even share that one card out to a few customers or potential prospects to get feedback to the community. Once you feel like you're at a good spot with that one card, clone it over and over and over again. Why? Because now all the layout is done, all the sizing is done, all the positioning is done. And then it's just sort of a find and replace, if you will, process of saying, okay, now I need to change it from Kale Paradise to the other product name. Now I need to grab the image and just swap out the image. And now I go from having one page that I may have spent 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours on really dialing in, but I'm not having to do that ever again. I'm just saying, okay, now each next one might be a 15-minute process just to whip up the next page over and over again. And then I think
we're gonna whip this up in no time. 4 hours.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh yeah, no. I'm being a bit facetious when I say that, but like really putting in some diligent thought behind the layout, the visitor, what they're looking for, what it's about. Why would a person be, I'm almost even thinking you're at maybe it's not a trade show, but like maybe a health fair, and you've got a booth and you've got all your juices set up and there's like little QR codes there and people are like, oh, wow, that one looks good. I want to scan and get some more information. I think those are huge opportunities to put in more context. These are people who are pulling information from you. You know what I mean? To put in more context, more information. Maybe it's a video of you talking about why this juice in particular is so powerful, and then why this juice versus going over to your local store and buying orange juice. You know what I mean? Like there's definitely all of these benefits of cold pressed juice and all of that type of stuff. Maybe it's aspects that also bring in some of the methods about why or how you juice, you know what I mean? And how you make the juice. I think each one of those things could be something about that or sitting on that product page that make either pushing that order button a lot faster.
Yeah, 100%. So let's go through kind of just what I want you to see what we're going to make, what it's going to look like at the end. And then let's go through the steps real quick so you guys can see what I did to get there. And then again, we can always edit and do some other fun stuff with it, but this will give you an idea. So if you do have, again, your own products that you're making and you're not, waiting on a corporate to hand you the stuff, right? You got to make your own product pages. That way you have everything right in your shuffle and you're ready to market, or you meet somebody and you're like, oh, you need to try this one because it does this. Then you send them that card information and they're not looking at an entire line. You're going like, this is the one you need. Here you go. So we're going to go to the desktop builder. You guys all know I'm going to go down to template 18. It's my favorite. And I actually called
Tuesday
it.
Was talking about just getting a good starting foundation every time Kathy goes to build a new card. She's starting at the same spot that she's comfortable with. Grab template 18, pull it up, and then she goes through her process, which can be all of our process, right? Creating the new card. She's giving it the name Kale Paradise, the first name Kale, last name Paradise. These are all elements that are going to sit on that card, create and edit. And you can always come back using that pencil icon in the upper left-hand side over here to update some of that little pop-up that Kathy was just filling out there.
So that's just going to tell her, like, every time it's Kale Paradise is what's viewed, then she knows that that's the one that's being viewed because it'll tell her the name of the card.
And these are only labels that you're going to see, guys. So that's something that I think people sometimes think, oh, somebody's going to see what I label this. no, this is just for your information. So when you're going through that analytics, like let's say you've got that booth and you want to know what gets the most scans, you know, you could say, oh, you know, my orange sunrise blend gets 80% of the scans and there's not a lot of kale scans, you know?
Okay, so we're gonna take the picture. Now, some of this I've already loaded into her account, or it's now my account, but it'll be into her account. So,
Yeah.
and I wanted to make the main picture the product.
And then you can see as Kathy's adjusting this, there is a little thing below there that says the picture you've uploaded has a maximum of 805 by 462. So as long as you're below that number, you're not going to see any pixelation within your image. So keep that in mind as you're putting in your images into your cards.
And how you lay it out is completely whatever makes you happy. This was just what made sense to me if I was to go to a product page.
Yeah. And I think that's something that as the seller, you want to ask yourself, you know, what am I trying to make sure my customers understand when they go to this page? But put on your hat of your customer and say, what would you like to know? Like, is it what ingredients are in this? What are the health benefits of this? You know, and sort of prioritize those elements as you go down in the card, so that if your average customer says, I just want to know what the ingredients are, what the health benefits are, and where to buy, maybe those are the first three things they're going to see on the card. And then the fourth thing might be why you're so passionate about juicing and why this juice is important, like your juice is better than the competitor. You know, that might not be the first thing your customers are interested in, but if it's something important, you can include it lower down below on your card. And then you can see Kathy's just sort of jumping back and forth from where content exists. And right now that's on the website. But for any of us, this could be a Google document that you wrote up that was just different talking points that you wanted to make sure you included on your card. It might be tabs of images that you might use, or a folder where you have those images saved. So being a little bit of proactive and thinking about how you're using the card, who's going to receive it, maybe even how you're sharing it, what you want to say, and that layout, and then having all of the content ready will help you speed up the process of building your cards as well. But at any time, you can always come back and edit these things, guys. So don't feel like you have to do it perfectly the first time you build your card. Like, get it started, hit save, come back, ask for feedback from people, etc. And you can see Kathy's got some buttons on here, shop our other juices. And I'm assuming, again, she's got this vision in her head of a directory page of maybe a bunch of the different juices that are available, you know, and then shop for the other services. And maybe that's going in. You can see Kathy's taking time to adjust colors for buttons. Now she's going to go in and she's going to adjust some logo information. If she doesn't think it's needed, she's going to hide it. So what you'll see is it just grays out that element. Sometimes just to make sure I'm not confusing myself, I'll take things that I'm hiding and I'll just drag them down to the bottom of the template. I don't necessarily want to get rid of them because I might in the future want to come back and add a video, or in the future might want to come back and add, you know, images. Like we might decide, oh, wow, you know, showing people the process of juicing, that it's not some giant centrifugal machine spitting out juice in bulk, that it's small batch, curated. Here's what all the vegetables look like. You know, here's us juicing the vegetables for Kale Paradise. Here is the end result coming back, and here's the bottling process. It gives that customer a tangible feeling of what the business is about and why they want to support that business. So you can always go, as Guy and I like to say, as mild on these cards to as wild as you want. But the big thing too, Kathy, to your point, is we're going to leverage this on a QR code. And in the future, we need to understand that something might change. Maybe she ends up adding an extra knob of, I don't know, ginger to this blend, and she needs to go back to the card and just edit and add in that extra ingredient. she doesn't have to change the QR code. She comes back to the card itself and makes that edit. So Kathy, I know I've been talking while you've been building this thing and it's almost done. You know, we can always jump back and preview it, etc. This is a great opportunity to look in, check my colors, check my layout, check my look and feel, decide what I want on or what I don't want on the card. And then you just go back and forth between these things, guys, until you have a landing page that works best for your intended purpose.
All right, so this is my beginner. Now I need to add, like you said, I need to add a couple of the little details. Dee, what do you think? Do you see how this is coming together?
I do. It's a lot of information. Like I'm trying to keep up. I'm trying to keep up.
That's why we record them. That's why we record them. Absolutely. But I think that this would be so cool to have. And then like you and I talked about putting the little logo or putting the QR code on each one. And then you could come in here and change this anytime. And every time you update it, it would be the most current, it'd be what the person sees when they click that QR code.
Yes, I love those ideas that he's throwing out too. I've been actually taking notes, but some of them, like I do have a lot of videos that we've been doing, like reels and things like that of us juicing and just showing each step of what we do for each individual juices. So that's pretty cool that I can add those things on here because I have all of that too.
And in fact, there was an image, Kathy, below the image scroller that you hid. Might be a great opportunity to add those types of things. Like if you have our process and it's sort of the scrolling through of each of those steps, you could always swap out and change photos to add photos of each of the step of the process. Also be aware, like a lot of the images on here, you can turn into a link. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So we can do that. Let me show you guys. I mean, now, again, I know I'm just working because my voice and ER is doing all the talking for me, but this is exactly how I build a card. And I was so excited when Dee and I met and she gave me her business card and we started chatting and I was like, of course, my brain goes like, oh, there's all kinds of things you can do. Yep. And so I just started like playing with her website and immediately started pulling things off. And in my brain, I could see exactly how I could lay it out and just bring her business to life for the person she's talking to. So I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to go over to her page. I'm going to pull a bunch of other images and we'll throw them in the scroller and show you guys how she could cross market from one of the QR codes to the other product. So I'm going to do that while you guys are chatting.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's whatever you envision the card being and how it's going to support you more than anything. We've talked in the past about not wanting to put all things for all people on the card, but sort of pick and choose. And then the benefit here is you've got the direct link here to your shopping. You can always link back to this from the card itself. And you can see, Kathy's just sort of grabbing some images as she goes through. And this is a great start to that, but you might find a month down the road, 2 months down the road, you get new images, or somebody's doing white background, sort of just individual bottle shots. You can always just come back in and swap out or change out an image, And you'll see Kathy's just grabbing images that she uploaded or brought out. Are you building a second card, Kathy? Is that what this one is?
This is going to be in the scroller, like you talked about, having links to market the other flavors. The other cool thing for anybody who's new is you can see now, again, this is my account right now, but it will go into T's account, is that your shuffle is going to hold on to all these photos for you. So the next time you make cards or the next time you do anything, you have a lot of your logos and the things that you typically use. You don't have to go and fetch that, right? It's already saved in your images for you. So I can change this one. I need to go grab another one. So this is just an idea if you want to have
examples.
If you want to have multiple examples and link to them from that original one. Or again, T's got all kinds of other things that she does. That's why I had that the shop other services. And so that way, people can see like, oh, it's not just juices. I can also, get these other services.
Yep.
Again, building market trust. People, once they know they can trust you, are they going to come back to you, for other things?
When we always, and I think we'll continue to say this all the time, like it's about the right information to the right person at the right time. If you're thinking, I'm going to be using this card at a booth, or it's going to be on the label of the bottle and they're going to scan it, you know what I mean? Then focus on what that intended customer or viewer journey is going to be like, right? They've picked up the bottle, they've got it in their hand, they're thinking about making an informed decision, and they're just looking for more information. So they've scanned this QR code. Now they've got a bottle in one hand and their phone in the other, and they're sort of going through everything. Here is your opportunity, in my mind, in that use case, to use that card to really push them over the edge of making that purchase. Like, what is it? Why is it important? What will it do for me, or what should I expect from it? And where can I get it? Or how can I purchase it? It could even be something, if this is retail and you have manufacturer coupon that you could make accessible from the QR code if you wanted to, So there's a lot of different ways you could use a landing page that's tied directly to the product that might be on the retail shelf to connect with your customers. Again, coming in, maybe they're only seeing bottle A, and you want to let them know somewhere on there that you've got bottle B, C, D, E, and F of different products that they might also want to be aware of. And if that retailer isn't carrying them, maybe where they could find it,
Absolutely.
And this is all without knowing much about your business. I'm just sort of speaking aloud here.
I think you're doing fantastic. Okay, so let's say this is what we came up with, right? So we've got this is going to be the card specifically for Kale Paradise, a little bit of information, what's in it. We would add I know you said that earlier, the antioxidants, and add all that into there. Shop Other Juices would take to the shop page. Other services from tea would take to the home page. Her logo, I haven't filled out any social media, so I'd make that cuter. Now we have our scroller down here. If somebody wanted to see like other flavors, this would not be white if it was this is just the preview. If they click on there, I've got it set where they could go click straight to the carrot or straight to the other flavors. And then we'll save that one. So I've changed the background to white. I've got the edges saved to white. So now if you were to,
and I really want to call this out to everybody. Obviously, this card is not perfect. But guys, the reality is we just built a landing page in 10 minutes while I was jibber jabbering with everybody. That's the thing that we need to start recognizing and realizing, and that if we just wanted to adjust it or dial it in, it's going to get better the more time we spend on it. So now, Kathy, you've got this card. How do we want to use it? And we'll see what the preview looks like. Go ahead.
What were you and Guy were talking about last week was about how, changing, how the world of websites and landing pages are evolving, right? And changing, it doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be this huge funnel. It doesn't have to be something that you pay somebody else to put together. You take something like this and go buy a URL for $25 or whatever, and you've got a page. You got something that you could send out to the world.
And I think that's the important thing, right? It's all about accessibility. Landing pages are very powerful tools if they're accessible to you and you can implement them. You have to understand the power of what a landing page can do. You have to understand the intent behind the landing page you're using, and you design specifically to that. You don't need to be all things to all people. You don't need to think it's like some giant website. And just put together what your needs are and then dial it in over time. You can always come back and edit and adjust, but for a 10-minute type of exercise here during Tech Tuesday, again, now you have a page that's got images, copy, outbound web links, social media links, all of this type of stuff. And you can see the link to that page in the URL of the browser window that Kathy has. But this is not the link we want to be using. This is what we would call our preview link. We want to be using links that are more trackable, And so when we do that, we're doing one of two paths. Either we're tracking because we know who we're sending it to, so we would create a link from one of our contacts, or we're creating a campaign because we still want tracking, but we do not know who will be visiting. It could be a bunch of people. So therefore, Kathy's going to come in here, she's going to scroll down, and she's going to go to campaigns. And the benefit is, imagine one card that could have an unlimited number of links that point to that card, but you can measure the traffic or the eyeballs, the visitors that come through each of those links. Instead of having one link, and I'm trying to break this out because it's pretty powerful, and Kathy, I know you're creating the campaign here, but let's think about this. If I had one card with one link, which is what you get in the free account, I could post that one link everywhere. And I may post it in 100 different places, and I may get alerts. Somebody viewed your card 100 times. But I wouldn't know that 50 of those views came from that one location on Instagram where I posted a picture of the juice and a link back to this card. And if I just knew that information, I could say, wow, look at all the traffic I'm getting on Instagram. I didn't get any views when I posted this on LinkedIn, or when I went and posted on the clipboard at the public library. You want to be able to have measurability, and that's what these individual links are going to do. So if you can create unlimited number of links, you can measure which link is getting traffic, even if all of those links point to the same destination, this one card. That's why I think these campaign links are so powerful. So you can see Kathy created a title for her campaign link, and it might be, this is going to be the bottle QR code. So guess what? We're only going to use this QR link for the print on the bottles. If you're going to do another link at a booth, at a health event, you would create a separate campaign that said booth QR code, health event, 7/4/22. You know what I mean? And then that way you would be able to see, oh, wow, this one that's on the bottles gets scanned this many times. This one at the booth got scanned this many times. And so you're setting up your notifications here, and make sure there's a few things. I think a best practice, and Kathy, you and I are in agreement with this, on any campaign, and we might talk to Deb eventually, it should be a summary. Unless you absolutely have to know everybody who comes in, it would tell you your bottle got scanned, your bottle got scanned, your bottle got scanned. Well, look, if you automatically, or if you're in a position where you're in 500 retail locations and people might be scanning your bottle multiple times per day, you're going to be sort of sick and tired of your phone going off saying bottle got scanned, bottle got scanned, bottle got scanned. What would even be more interesting, Kathy, if you scroll up on there, did you put the kind? Is this the Kale? Mm-hmm. Yep, Kale Paradise. All of a sudden you don't even want to be in a position where it's like Kale Paradise bottle, this bottle, that bottle. I mean, it's great to know that it's working, but typically a daily summary is a better view because it's going to give you the total views in the last 24-hour period.
Yeah, we don't want to kill your
phone battery. Come back and adjust this. You can start off on individual. And if you're like, why is my campaign getting all these alerts? I need to turn it off. You can come back in, edit the campaign, and go to daily summary. Things like email notifications, again, depending on what you like to get alerted, you're going to want to select which one you want. I'm not an email person, so much like Kathy, I turn off the email notification, but I love getting just that little alert on my phone. Then
I think the lead capture would be kind of cool on this, don't you?
We'd love to connect with you. You know what I mean? Leave us your information or join our list or become a fan. I mean, this is, again, another channel for you to connect with your audience and to connect with your customer. And for a lot of businesses out there, building a list is a critical component of the success of your business, right? The customer list, the prospect list, etc. So every business should take an opportunity to think wisely about what lists they are building and how they're using that list. And again, it could be something that you find out that most of the people scan the QR code. while they're drinking the drink. You know what I mean? And it's like, hey, it could be like, we'd love to hear from you. Leave us a review. You know, there are these elements, the secondary elements that you would put on your card. Become a fan, or do some quid pro quo, you know, join our list and we'll email you a coupon for your next drink. All of these things to get information on people. And then if you have a new juice release, or you're getting carried in a new retail location, or you have information to share out, you now have a list of individuals who've interacted with your product already that you can get back in front of. So you can see Kathy's built out the little lead capture list here, and she's starting to put in information, and she just generated it. And now you can see there's a whole different URL than the URL we had for the preview. This is the URL that's specific for that campaign. So Tia, a few things happen when somebody scans that QR code. Now we're tracking that it's specifically the bottle campaign for Kale Paradise that's getting scanned. We can see here, you know, connect with Healthy Tea, and it's got your add their name, last name, first name, and email, you know, and then select new flavors. Let us know what you want to be kept abreast of, and they can submit that. You now have an interactive page specific to Kale Paradise that the customers, whether they be existing or potential, can interact with. And then you have that QR code for the campaign, even though Kathy opened the hyperlink, that you can always download and, you know, put on the artwork of the labels and all of that type of stuff. Here are the big rules then once you do that, right? Once you've printed a QR code on a label, or put a QR code on a real estate yard sign, or picked up and printed it out and done the side of your truck, etc., never delete the card, never delete the campaign. As long as those two things remain alive, you can always come back and edit the lead capture on the campaign or modify those questions. It will not change the QR code. It will not change the campaign link. Or come back and modify the card and do that type of stuff.
AR, got a question for you.
I was
Can you
gonna
have-
say, let's take questions. I'm sure we just did a ton of stuff.
Kathy, when you were doing the creating the campaign, I've been using, for some reason, mandatory. Can you tell her what that does?
Yeah, so you can make questions mandatory or optional. So when you create this, the only thing that comes up as mandatory every time is the person's first name. And then you can choose to make the entire questionnaire mandatory, or individual questions of the questionnaire mandatory. Again, I have seen them where somebody's got 15 questions and every one of them is mandatory. I would very much caution against that. I just, me personally, if I was asked, I would have to be very, very, very interested in something to answer 15 mandatory questions. So to me, it's like fishing, right? I want to get a little bit of your information, especially if you have an email list that you can add them to. Right here, all we've done is at least capture their email and give them an option to tell us what it is that they'd like to connect about. And I
Perfect.
can
Okay,
throw you into an email list.
I'll go ahead and modify mine because mine asks for a phone number as well, mandatory. But I like your idea.
Totally up to you.
And my title says, join my email list. So if I got to redo it then. So it's just first name, last name, and email. And I think that'll be fine. The other
you go.
thing is,
Ruben, just be aware of that and how you're using the form and how it's being presented to people. You know, Guy, you and I've talked in the past. If somebody asks for a phone number from me and I've never met with them, I'm not looking for the service, you know, I'm the person who puts in the 555-5555, you know, a Hollywood phone number for everybody. This is definitely something that once you gather it, it's going to build out a contact with that first name when they fill out that form. And as you engage with your contacts, because that's really what we believe, it's person-to-person interaction, it's winning new customers and generating raving fans, that you're going to build a dossier on that person over time, right? Oh, wow, they finally opened up and gave me their phone number. Or, oh, you know, we were emailing and lo and behold, their phone number was in the footer of their email and I just grabbed it and put it in. You can always add more information over time about your contacts. I think the key is just to gather the bare minimum important information, right? A name and an email, a name and a phone number. You know, you don't need to know how many kids do you have, where were you born, and what are the last four digits of your social security number, right? You can start to gather that information over time if it's necessary, Otherwise, just gather the minimum. I think people sometimes go over the top and they wonder why people don't submit the form. They bounce from the form, especially to Kathy's point, if you make everything mandatory. Now, there are times where that works too, like a quid pro quo. Hey, anybody who fills out this form, once you submit it, you're going to get a whatever, $25 Amazon gift card. Okay, if I really want a $25 Amazon gift card, I might fill out a longer form with more detailed information. So it just really depends on what the expectation you're setting with the person who's filling out that form.
I think just with advice on that, Ruben, that I had heard, mandatory phone number. If I have a phone number, to ER's point, it's what we do. Even if it's something that they're very interested in and it's the first time they're seeing it, they're still probably going to put in a fake phone number or bounce if you put it in as mandatory. So I'd always, if I'm putting a phone number in, I'm going to put it in as optional. They don't have to fill it out. And then also you had mentioned join my email list as your title to your lead capture. Be very wary of that as well. People don't want to be on lists.
Oh, okay.
I would not fill out a list that says I want to join someone else's list.
I'll revise that too. Thanks so much.
Just
Okay, one thing
sign up for spam is a good title, right? Sign up for spam. People will just enter in all day long. I think that's it, right? Where it's like become a raving fan is a good title. Kathy, I think you've used one like let's connect or connect with me. Some of those things. Every one of these things can literally play a role in click-through rates, conversion rates, submission rates, all of those things. So, when we hear from guys like Jeff Badgier on here who sit there and they're sweating over what word to use, you know what I mean? It's because sometimes that can be very important. Words have meanings, and you want to make sure you're always putting on the hat of your prospective customer or prospect when you're putting in what you want them to see, not necessarily what you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that can help as well.
There you go. I got the book.
Go back to our book.
I'll
Ruben.
read
Go
it.
Back to our book.
Words that sell.
Words that sell.
Okay, there's one more thing. Kathy just did an unbelievable package on theirs, and I can appreciate that. I'm not on that skill set yet, but I'm thinking of the member that we just signed up, who is although he's a tech guy, it's really interesting. Although he's a tech guy, based on the questions and the observations I made, he was still questioning the process. So what I did, by chance, I showed him the entire offering that we had, including Marketplace.
Yep.
Okay. All of a sudden, I hadn't seen him in a week. I got a notification, Ruben, you can't believe what I developed. And he showed it to me. It was on the desktop, the desktop builder. And I said, that is great. Ruben, I just went to Marketplace and checked out something and just plugged and played. So you never can tell. Yeah. And that's something that, we often probably don't mention it enough, but Kathy, could you show us where Marketplace is?
And while Kathy's pulling this up, Ruben, you bring up a big point, and I want to talk to people about a big gap, okay? And the gap is between two types of Shuffle users, if I may. The first type is a DIY user, okay? A lot of the times it's, I don't have a huge budget, but I do know the importance of this thing, and I'm willing to absorb knowledge and skills so that I can take it on and do it myself. And for anybody who's ever been an entrepreneur or a small business owner, that's part of the role of wearing 100 hats in your business, right? You're the CEO, you're the trash man, you're the website builder. You better learn how to do it all and do it all to the best of your ability. On the other side of the spectrum, there is that DI or done for you type of person, right? I love it. I think this could work out great, but I just don't have the bandwidth, the desire, or whatever to do this. If somebody would do it for me, I would gladly pay X number of dollars. So one of the big things that helps us bridge that gap, Ruben, to your point, is Marketplace. It's having some of the initial templates done for them to where they can find one that's laid out in a way that best fits what they envision. Will it fit it perfectly? Not necessarily. Can they still modify or move some things around? Much like all of the standard templates we have, absolutely, they can go in and they can modify and move some things around. They just have a different starting point. You know, it's like Kathy uses template 18 under standard templates. Why? Because Marketplace is an extra subscription and not everybody may be subscribed to Marketplace, you know. But number two, it's like, if you do have that skill set, then going to Marketplace, to Ruben, your story, and grabbing a template, you'll see these are going to diverge wildly from what you're going to see in those like 20 standard templates that are mostly business cardy layouts, right? An image, contact information. You're going to see lots of visuals. You're going to see different industries. And all of that's just to help you get started going down a path to create a specific card for that. So I love hearing stories like that, Ruben, where it's like, you know, all of a sudden I didn't know if I could do this. And then I went over here, I found one that worked, and look what I created. You know, because they had a different starting, a foundation to sort of build on with those Marketplace cards. So do be aware, you can mouse over all these Marketplace. It's free to browse, but if you are not a Marketplace subscriber, if you go to select one of these, it will ask you to upgrade into Marketplace. Marketplace is I think we've got it discounted right now, Guy. It's $5 per month. To use a Marketplace template. And as long as you're a subscriber here, you can use any one of the Marketplace templates for any number of your card slots.
But you have to remain a Marketplace subscriber.
Correct. If you go to downgrade, you will lose all of your Marketplace built cards because those Marketplace templates are tied to a Marketplace subscription. Now, with that being said, guys, for those
we have another question. Anna,
oh yeah,
is it back on the original?
Thank you.
Yeah. I didn't want to jump off. I don't want to get too far away from what we built if that's what it's on.
yeah, let's go on there.
Okay. Are you ready
Mm-hmm.
for a question? Okay. What a fascinating training. I love, and I'm marking this training to share with people who already have a website,
Mhm.
because this copy and paste, I can't explain it, but this training does it very, very well. And it takes their website to the digital business card and makes it easy to carry around and easy to get in and out and make changes, but also the automatic update. When you update the card, it asks you, do you want everyone who has this card to be notified? It's a great way to get that extra touch in and remind your customers, I still have the Kale Paradise and now we've made a little change,
Yeah.
you know, that kind of thing. I wanted to mention, let's see, instead of asking for a telephone number, we're starting to add preferred text ? And if that's a yes, then they can put in a telephone number.
Mhm.
But that way you're not asking for their phone number.
Mhm.
You're asking, do you wish to be texted instead? Please be careful when you're collecting this information, where you keep your reports, because identity theft is a real thing. And if you're breached, you can be held liable for all of the personal information that you have. And I don't want to be scary about this, but be cautious with what you're collecting and how you store it.
And if you, Guy or ER, if you want to talk about, I mean, the security on Shuffle is, I mean, the incredible.
I think that's an important topic, and I
Good.
I
Thanks.
appreciate you bringing it up because it's in all areas and aspect of your business.
Yes.
And here within Shuffle and under the LFI solution, especially under the relationship management side of the tool, where you have names, you have phone numbers, you have notes, you have follow-up type of thing. I do want everybody to understand that we use the same type of security and encryption that your typical international banks use. So data transmission is all secure through the pipe, right? It goes in encrypted, it comes out encrypted, and there's unencryption that happens at each end. And then even the login. So the key here, like with most technologies, your biggest vulnerability on your Shuffle account is your username and password. So be aware of that. Your username and password, don't give it out. Don't share it. Make sure you create a secure password. There are plenty of benchmarks out there about secure password generation. I know Google Chrome actually has a Chrome plugin that will suggest those sort of hexy randomly generated passwords, and then they will keep those things remembered. So if you're in your Chrome browser, it will load those up. I always recommend using a combination of of lowercase letters, at least one uppercase letter, at least one number, and at least one sort of random sign like an @ or an exclamation point, things like that. And there's actually studies online that talk about how long it takes a hacker to hack passwords just based on those variables, guys. And it's pretty interesting, right? It's something like if you have a 3 or 4 digit password, it takes like 4 minutes for a hacker to break in, right? Add an extra one, go from 4 to 5, and it goes from 4 minutes to 4 days, right? From 5 to 6, you're going from 4 days to 4 months. And then as you're getting into this 6 to 8 characters, why do they ask for these longer passwords? It's because the hackers are just running these brute force attacks that guess passwords randomly, right? So don't use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like they do in Spaceballs, you know what I mean, for your password for your luggage. Pick something that's going to be somewhat random and hard to guess. That includes those mix of things. Once you start adding in the numbers and the special characters, guys, we're talking about we're creating passwords that would take machines up to 4+ years to crack. And then hopefully you're randomly going in every now and then and updating your password. So
your financial institutions,
security is big, guys.
Sorry.
Keep your data secure.
Yeah,
You
just
know
be
what?
aware that
You
reminds
know
me
my
of
password. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's my good
right,
one.
right.
Right.
What it reminds me of is a documentary I was watching, and a Russian government high official, they hacked him 4 times, and you could imagine what his email or his password was. His first one was password 1, second one was password 2.
Yeah.
And they continue to hack this guy. So just be aware. It's got to be something that's unique to you. You know, we've noticed they've talked about it a lot of times, and why ER brings it up. In the age of technology and email passwords, a lot of people use password. So don't use password.
Yeah, guys. I mean, just be smart. Just be smart about it and realize in Shuffle, that's the greatest vulnerability. Somebody has gotten access to your email address, your username, and your password. Everything else, I would stake that it is uber secure, guys. Encrypted data on the database, encrypted data in transmission. If anybody opens up their Shuffle account and clicks on the URL, just like when you're purchasing online, you're going to see that little lock, secure socket layers. That's what encrypts data transmission. So you'll see that or notice that as well. This is good to have food for thought in case somebody asks you that question, right? How secure is this platform? You know, everything's secure socket layers, like there it is right there. Same thing, they're transmitting data through the bank. You know, all of this is secure in the database. So
This is what Guy and ER do all day long. That's what they're in charge of.
it's not the cool, neat stuff, but it keeps everybody safe. So we like it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tuesday, did you have something else?
Yeah, quick question.
Yeah.
I noticed that at the bottom on the marketplace, the referral code or the codes was out. So they don't have, the codes doesn't show, correct? For them?
On some of those, correct. If the template does not include that referral ID number or things like that, then that link will not be on the card itself. However, that does not mean if they are on that card and then come over to LFI or Shuffle, that it's not tracking to you. And I think this is another thing that I think sometimes people overlook. Cookies, have you guys ever seen those little pop-ups on websites? We use cookies, right? Cookies are something you can place in somebody's browser on their computer that identifies that they've been to your site before. So even in instances, Tuesday, where you may not see that on the footer of one of those marketplace templates, if somebody visits that marketplace card that a user is using, and then later on, you know, surreptitiously just ends up on the the LFI websites, it still tracks back to any cookies that were even placed at that time. And so we do place cookies. I'm not sure 100% what the expiration date is. It's probably 6 months or a year. So that gives you a 6 month to year window. If they come to the website organically, you still get credit for any of that type of referral. The only thing that it doesn't do is it eliminates the path to quickly get from the card straight to the website. And that's always something that you can add with a button or anything else that you'd like on there.
And you'll see that sometimes, like if I'm working on someone else's account or whatever, all of a sudden my computer is cookie to their account instead of my account. So you just got to clear your cookies, clear your cache, and then go from there.
And then you may have noticed when Kathy was editing some of the cards as well, that whole element section that is the referral invite code powered by Shuffle, there's a gear there. You can even hide that. I know in some instances you really want to dial your landing page into a specific look and feel. So we're not going to restrict you or handcuff you by saying you've always got to have the powered by LFI or the invite code branding or anything like that on your pages.
Unless it's the free card.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any
Sure.
other questions, you guys? I know we had some good stuff this week.
Yeah,
Some
really good.
talk
I
full of
have a
information.
strategy question I'd like to ask.
Yeah.
Yes. Go ahead, John.
So I have a large number of people that I want to approach now. And by the way, this is something you guys have talked to before, but I'm hoping the way I ask the question will get a little bit different insight. I could approach them in at least 4 ways. I could do a promotional card.
Mhm.
I could do a free card.
Mhm.
I could do $1, then full charge, or I could do a full card. I was hoping that you guys could give me some ideas of what kinds of what are the ways that you would think of consider which of those ways to approach people.
Yeah, I think this is a good question, John. And I think the answer, and this is one of those funny answers, is it depends, right? It depends on the person and the situation always. And this is why we have flexibility, because the shoe doesn't fit everybody equally, right? So we want to have different options. So for some people, the free card, I think, is a great way to segue people in. I would say everybody in the world deserves a digital business card. You know what I mean? And if anything, you should have a digital business card. And there are numerous reasons down that channel, right? If I'm somebody who is interacting with customers, I might say, not even free business card, download this app so that you can keep my card and get alerts when I update it. You know what I mean? It's completely free. Still the same free business card, but they're going to be using it for card index versus their own card. And that's going to allow me to give them push notifications when I update my card. So I'm thinking about that situation. If it's a business and I'm really saying, look, sales, marketing, landing pages, QR codes, these are all important aspects in your business, then I'm more or less, John, judging where is their business at in its business life cycle. Are they a business that's readily investing in technology, investing in their marketing, investing in their sales? Then segueing into the full kit and caboodle is a great path. You know what I mean?
Excel is here to flip out, change
Okay.
out a meter. You're going to lose power for 30 seconds.
Okay, I'll
When
do-
is a good time for that?
In like maybe 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
Yeah.
Let me know, okay?
Excel is about to turn off my power, everybody. I might lose connectivity here in about 5 minutes.
So just more information, these people are mostly online marketers I'm talking about.
Okay, then the other side is if they're just like, I need the tools, but I'm price sensitive. Again, I will always segue them in either the free card or the dollar offer. The dollar offer, the thing to keep in the back of your mind on a dollar offer is it automatically transitions to the full account if they do not cancel their trial. Whereas the free account, they can have free for life and at some point in the future escalate into. So sometimes I'll look at that like, I know you need to invest in your business. I know you can afford this, but I'm going to give you a $1 trial anyways, just because I can see that you want it to prove itself out before you decide if you keep it. It's almost a try before you buy. I'll also preface that the $1 trial is going to unlock everything, right? So you're going to get the full experience of the technology at day one. Whereas the free user, you almost have to tell them, this is a limited version of the full thing, and here's what you're going to miss out on. Because sometimes if you don't plant the seeds of what they're going to miss out on, yes, there's upsell information on each of the free sort of areas where they're going to encounter something that's maybe not available for free but premium to prompt them to upsell. But you really want to preface that, right? You're going to get one card, one template, one link. Are you okay with that? Because the card I showed you and the free card I created for myself are very different. And sometimes that showing and telling helps. Like, John, it's a great opportunity to have a free card of your own and your premium card. So that way you can show people what both look like and they can compare and contrast. Or
The
I'll
other
go
thing
through-
we've talked about before, I think is a great idea, John. If you can spin a card up really fast, even if it's 1 or 2 templates that you make, right? So if you have a template and you're like, this is my favorite template, it's picture, name, logo, whatever, like whatever your layout that you like best, maybe a
Yeah.
couple extra buttons. And Luke or T might be able to speak to this, because this is actually, I mean, like I said, I genuinely met them both networking. I've spun stuff up for them before. This is how the conversation literally started with these friends of mine. But it's like, let me show you something, because I can spin this up really fast. I can see it, right? I can see what I can build for your business. You don't know yet what I can build for your business. And it wasn't even a question, right? It was like, yes, we have a free account, but here's what I made for you. And I showed them, and it wasn't even like well, let me show you. Well, what can I get for free? It was like, I want that. So if you can spin these up really quickly, or you have a layout and you can just input their things and show them something that's a little personalized, and you put the time and effort into it, they see that you put the time and effort into it.
Yeah.
And typically they're like, hey, that's really cool. A, I appreciate that. B, you've just done that for me, and you can just throw it into my account. And C, they see that you understand what they need.
You're not talking promotional. You're talking about using one of my cards to show them, not promotional.
Yeah, you could do it either way.
do it
I
either
find
way,
that if you
yeah.
use one of your cards, it's easier for them to clone it, because when you send it that way. And to Kathy's point, one tip out of there for anybody who just heard that: create 1 or 2 or maybe 3 templates that you create all of your sample cards out of. So you're not creating from scratch for every single person you might be sharing something with. It's something you can quickly grab a few images, like Kathy was doing earlier, off their website or off their Instagram or off their, wherever their online personas are, and then quickly swap into a card that you use. That's going to be efficient with your time as well. The one thing we don't want you guys doing is spending 3 hours to build an amazing card for a prospect that might still at the end of the day say, I love it, but no thanks. You know what I mean?
So here's mine. I mean, this is literally what I made for T when we first met. When I got her card and I got her website, and I just brought it to her at a meeting. I was like, hey, pull the QR code up. I was like, here, take a picture of the QR code. And she was like, this looks awesome. So this is literally typically very much how I like to lay out my business cards, if it's a business card versus a landing page. And I just plugged in the same information, put in her colors, made it look really, personalized. And I just thought it looked really sleek. So I can then go in here and I can change things, or I can just send this to her and go, here, now you make it yours. But here's like a start. It's kind of like a marketplace, right? Here's a starter.
100%.
And now you take it and run with it and make it what you love.
Well, and I like, Kathy, that you tend to lead with the digital card first, because a landing page can be anything under the sun. There's so many different rabbits that you can chase down different holes when it comes to a landing page. But typically when we introduce ourselves to somebody, and when we connect with somebody, and when we use a digital business card, there's really some primary elements that are always going to be there, right? Like who I am, my title in my company, the ways for people to get a hold of me or to connect with me socially, some type of image or logo, what you're going to get beyond a business card, some type of blurb, that's some more text stuff, and then outbound web links. It doesn't need to be more complex than that. And that will serve the digital bit, making the connection and introducing yourself to somebody else. That will serve that role 9 times out of 10, you know? So to have something that's like that, like, hey, I can quickly spin you up a digital business card. Let me do that for you. Here's the sample, is a great example. And when you get to the point, like, I know Kathy's like this, I know some of us are like this, where you can do it in a few minutes, like, hey, let me do this real quick. Here you go. You know what I mean? They're like, oh my gosh, John, how did you do that? And you made that look sort of effortless and simple. And then you say, yeah, this is a digital card, but you can create any type of landing page if you have a premium account. Now they're starting to explore all of these ways that they could be leveraging the technology. And as soon as they start getting down, in my experience, down that path of sort of ideating on all the different benefits they could see out of Shuffle, then they're more encouraged to come in at that premium level. You know what I mean? I hope that answers your question, John.
Yeah, that was really helpful. Thank you, guys.
Mhm.
Absolutely. All right, I know we kept you guys late. I'm sorry, but it was so good. I couldn't stand it. So I always love coming in here and brainstorming with everyone. You know how to find us if you need us. Make sure you're following Go LFI on Facebook, and you're in the Facebook Insiders, LFI Insiders, so that you're able to connect with other Shuffle users. And then if you need anything before next Tuesday, just, you know, contact one of us or throw it out to support@lfi.com and we'll help you. And otherwise, we'll be here again. Let's see, what's Tuesday? Is Tuesday the actual? No, Thursday. Monday's the 4th, right? Are you guys? Is it the
Monday's the 4th.
5th? Okay. So
Yeah.
I'm around for the 5th.
We'll
Okay.
see everybody on the 5th
Yes,
then.
2:00. I plan to be here. All right. Great,
All right,
guys.
thank you,
everybody.
Kathy.
Absolutely. Have
care.
a great week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Great call.